am, of course. You know what we always do Wednesday nights. Before we go on, it is in order to say Barka de Sallah from the extra team. This Wednesday night is really special because there is so much happening, and trust us here to go the extra mile, to put the extra touch on the stories for you. Of course, we shall begin with the Federal Executive Council, where approval has been given for financing of the Presidential Power Initiative. That is good news for those who yearn for stable power supply. Now, to the big one, the Festival of Sacrifice. I'm sure you know what I mean, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. We have stories and advisories on the celebration amid COVID-19. The new normal, you will see. Let's see what else is on the menu today. We have security, agriculture, flooding, environmental degradation, and of course, the corona. Now, that is about a sneak preview of what is coming up. So grab a seat and a cup of whatever you like to sip and stay with me as the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Umar Buba and this is News Extra. You're welcome. The Federal Executive Council has approved the immediate financing of the Presidential Power Initiative, otherwise referred to as end-to-end grid modernization and expansion program. This is to address the intractable problems bedeviling the nation's power industry over the years. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, announced this while briefing journalists after the council's meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. And State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports on this and other decisions taken by members towards enhancing the next level agenda.
President Muhammadu Buhari and German Chancellor Angela Merkel met in Abuja in August 2018 and committed to jointly increase the nation's electricity grid from 5 to 25 gigawatts over a three-phase program. As a result, an MOU was executed last year between the federal government and a German consortium, Siemens, designed to deliver the Presidential Power Initiative. At this meeting of the Federal Executive Council, members approved the ratification of President Buhari's anticipatory approval for the release of 15.21 million euros offshore and 1.70 billion naira onshore as counterpart funding for the bilateral credit facility guaranteed by the German government towards financing the grid modernization and expansion program.
This project is designed to include 23 transmission initiatives as well as 175 separate transformative projects in the electricity distribution franchises that we have in the country. The project will also support the regulator NERC towards a program for improving metering in the electricity industry in the country.
The Council also ratified 2 investment promotion and protection agreements signed in 2016 between Nigeria and Singapore on one hand, as well as Nigeria and the Kingdom of Morocco on the other.
The whole idea was to grant more protection to Nigerian investors when they invest abroad and to give Nigeria more protection when other investors come into Nigeria.
The Ministry of Environment also secured the approval of the Council for a new National Forest Policy 2020.
Why the new one? Because we realized that the old one is not catering for the current situation at hand. This is a policy that we feel will go a long way in safeguarding the economy and the planet at the same time.
For now, the minister said export of forest products has been suspended and charcoal exploitation completely banned to put a stop to environmental degradation as the nation intensifies tree planting campaign. The Federal Executive Council also ratified the Air Transport Services Agreement between Nigeria and the United States.
The U.S. has ratified its own, and the President and Council graciously accepted today to also ratify this agreement with the attendant benefits for both countries, especially as Nigeria is working towards having its own national airlines. It will not take advantage of this air transport agreement to strengthen economic, social, and cultural ties between the two countries.
In the meantime, the council observed a moment of silence in honor of the former minister in charge of the railways in the First Republic, Abdul Ganiyu Abdul Razak. The late Abdul Ganiyu Abdul Razak, father to the incumbent governor of Kwara State, was former Nigeria's ambassador to Cote d'Ivoire, former chairman, Nigerian body of benchers, and was reputed as the first lawyer from northern Nigeria. The elder statesman, SGF boss Mustafa says, will be remembered for his selfless and meritorious service to the nation and humanity. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari will observe the Eid Kabir prayers with his family at home, just as he did during the Eid al-Fitr a little over 2 months ago. In line with advisories from the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA, and the Presidential Task Force, PTF, on COVID-19. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, stated that in wishing all Muslims a safe and happy Eid, the President reiterated the protocols as issued by the PTF that large gatherings as much as possible should be discouraged. Where small groups choose to hold the Eid together, face masks are absolutely necessary, as is social distancing. Advisedly, such prayers should hold outdoors, and worshippers are encouraged to bring their own prayer mats in order to stop the spread of the disease. The President will not be receiving Salah homages by religious, community, party and government leaders, and urges all citizens to observe the occasion as advised by state and local authorities. In the meantime, the tradition during the annual Eid Kabir celebration is for Muslims to converge on one central Eid ground in every community to offer the 2 units prayer. However, due to the COVID-19, Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, brought together district heads to stress the need for Muslims to abide by the safety measures and observe the Eid prayer at Jumat Mosque to curb the spread of the pandemic during the festivity. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila tells us more.
The meeting was an avenue for the traditional rulers to update the Sultanate Council on happenings in their respective districts. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar noted that the decision to conduct Eid al-Adha prayers in Jumu'at mosques was informed by the need to curb the spread of COVID-19 across the state. He said even though Sokoto State has been without any case of COVID-19 for about 3 weeks, recently a foreign national was confirmed with the disease. This, the Sultan said, necessitates the need for more efforts in curtailing the spread of the disease. On insecurity in some districts, the Sultan charged the district heads to always report happenings within their domains. Meanwhile, the Sultan has presented cash grants for the purchase of sacrificial animals for the orphans to the 86 districts of the state. While appreciating the gesture by the government through the Zakat Commission, Sultan Muhammad Saad emphasized on judicious distribution of the meat to the orphans. Chairman Zakat and Endowment Commission, Muhammad Lawal Maiduki, informed the Sultan that the Commission has come up with various programs aimed at helping the needy, aged, orphans and widows. The annual distribution of the sacrificial animal is to put smiles on the faces of the orphans. The brief ceremony featured question and answer session. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
And in view of the coronavirus pandemic and in consultations with the relevant stakeholders, the Federal Capital Territory has directed that Eid Kabir prayer, which is normally conducted at the National Eid Ground along Airport Road, will now be conducted at the premises of the Abuja National Mosque on Friday, 31st July 2020. A statement by Haliru Shuaibu stated that all worshippers are therefore enjoined to observe all the COVID-19 protocols such as social distancing, wearing of face mask, performing of ablution from home, and bringing along their prayer mats. Meanwhile, the Federal Road Safety Corps says all measures have been put in place to ensure hitch-free movement during the Eid al-Kabir celebration. The Corps Education Officer, Bisi Kazim, started this while talking about the level of preparedness of the Corps for the festive period. Oyemi Ajayi has the details.
Eid al-Kabir is one of the major Islamic festivals that attracts mass movement of people from one part of the country to another. However, with the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic, this year's celebration seems to be on a low key to avoid community spread of the virus. Based on this, it is expected that there will still be some movement of people, hence propelling deployment of personnel, equipment and others on the highways to prevent road crashes.
All hands are on deck. About 35,000 special marshals and regular marshals have been deployed. Our major target, we have about 53 black spots identified already, and there are going to be about 201 mobile courts to try people summarily, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to put enough stringent measures. We will do enforcement, we will do enlightenment, and if you are caught and you are taken to mobile court, you are your own.
The Corps Public Education Officer also says that the COVID-19 presidential directives of physical distancing in vehicles, the mandatory use of face masks and others remain in place and defaulters will be adequately sanctioned. In Abuja, Oyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
The 9th of Zulhijjah in the Islamic calendar is Arafat Day, full of spiritual importance. Despite the effect of COVID-19 on religious activities, Islamic clerics say Muslims, whether on pilgrimage or not, should maximize the day through increased acts of worship. And Abdullahi Ajia tells us more about Arafat.
Arafat is a name of a mountain that has a vast area of plain land around where Muslims on pilgrimage gather and spend the 9th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah. This gathering of Muslims on Arafat Day, termed as Ugul al-Arafat, is a fundamental pillar of the pilgrimage, without which an entire pilgrimage remains invalid.
Prophet Muhammad emphasized that al-Hajju Arafah. So what we call Hajj is for you to be at the playing ground of that Arafah. At the site of Arafah, people should, you realize that all over the world, people look the same.
Although this year's Arafat will be devoid of its multitude of pilgrims as a result of the coronavirus pandemic, while at Arafat, pilgrims combined the two known prayers of Zuhur and Asr, which they observe at the same time. From dawn till sunset, pilgrims on Arafat engage in intense prayers and supplications for self, family, and the nation. This is because, in accordance to prophetic hadith, with or without COVID-19, Arafat Day is a day when Allah answers the supplication of His servants like no other day. The devil is reduced to nothing, dislodged and frustrated. That is why, in solidarity, non-pilgrims all over the world fast voluntarily that day.
A Muslim has something to do, even if he's not in Mecca or in Arafat ground. You are expected to fast. Fasting on that day is a space 2 years sin.
Historically, Arafat is believed to be the place where Prophet Adam and Hawa were reunited after they were sent down to earth. It was also on Arafat Day that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, delivered his famous valedictory sermon during his farewell pilgrimage. An added spiritual benefit of the day is it being a day that Allah redeems His servant from hellfire. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
And away from Eid al-Kabir stories now, the federal government is taking precautions against any form of disruption in the Niger Delta region as moves are being made to bring stakeholders to a roundtable towards addressing issues raised recently by the local communities and seen as threat to peace, if not urgently checked. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Timothy Silva led a delegation of the Delta State government to the presidential villa in Abuja on the invitation of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The Minister and Deputy Governor Kingsley Otuaru spoke to State House correspondent Jide Onifade after the meeting held behind closed doors.
Community issues, and when they come up, we have to deal with them early before they fester and become bigger problems. And that's why the Vice President invited the Deputy Governor of Delta State to look at the issues so that we can discuss and resolve them quickly before they become bigger issues.
We are meant to discuss. There are issues, and we have agreed, and that immediately after the Salah, then we will have a platform to sorting out all of those issues. Yeah.
Oh, we apologize for the blurry visuals and some part of that report. Now, I remember how excited children living in villages along railways always got, most especially me, whenever a train jerked. By such excitement is back for rail travelers as Rigasa train station bounces back to life after months of lull due to the realities of COVID-19. Abdullahi Mohammed witnessed the departure of the first train to Abuja and now reports.
About 4 months ago was the last time a train moved from Rigasa station here in Kaduna to Abuja, and upon resumption of operations today, we have seen the first train moving out of this rail station to Abuja. And what we have observed that operations has changed inside the train. Where 3 people are supposed to sit down, we have seen that only 2 were on seat. That means social distancing has been fully adhered to. And other places that 2 passengers were supposed to sit, we saw only 1 passenger sitting down. And upon arrival here, we observed that officials were there to ensure that people wash their hands, they use sanitizers, and ticketing was very smooth.
I'm happy that they've started again.
As I was told, it's only 20 people in the first class. And I bought mine, but the money is doubled, which I felt it.
At about 40 minutes after 6 this morning, we saw the first train upon resumption of operations here in Rigasa Station, Kaduna, moving out with passengers towards Abuja. And you can see the vicinity of the station empty, the tracks also empty. My name is Abdullahi Mohammed, reporting from the Rigasa train station in Kaduna.
And that is how it was from the Kaduna end. How was it at the Abuja end? Oluseyi Adiabo says there was strict compliance to the PTF directives on COVID-19 protocols. So let's...
Things must take their course, and in this instance, observance to the safety and health protocols of COVID-19 is priority as security operatives and staff of the Nigerian Railway Corporation enforce compliance. From the temperature check to application of hand sanitizer, disinfecting luggage, passengers with their face masks on, as well as sanitizers, must make use of the markings on the floor while maintaining physical distancing. The exercise went on seamlessly from arrival to the point of ticketing down to boarding. For Azara Bala Askia and a cross-section of the passengers, it is exciting to board the train again.
When I saw the announcement of the train, I was really jumping like a small baby. I was so happy what the government has done.
Going forward, I expect that they'll maintain this because people's lives and safety is at risk. It can't be the way it was before. So I'm very happy with it, and I expect the government will maintain the standard.
The excitement is simple. This is what Nigerians have been waiting for, and it is the joy of everyone to see the train move again. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, was also at the station to check the level of compliance with the COVID-19 guidelines, instructing security operatives to be more responsive. Passengers did not know what to make of the number of trips, which were just 4 on the day 1 schedule, especially after promises that more trips will be available on resumption of train services. This did not go down well with the minister.
No. We promise everybody that we'll be running hourly basis. We cannot, because we're waiting for ceremony and waiting for DMU to arrive. Not even if you don't run an hour early, run 1 hour 30 minutes or every 2 hours. Yeah, so why are you not doing it? That's what we said.
Okay, sir. We are going to start it. I'm here tomorrow. Don't say, okay, sir, I'm coming here tomorrow.
Already, there are indications of good business prospects as activities return to the Abuja-Kaduna rail line, especially with the Eid Gabriel celebration. There is, however, optimism of continuous adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And from here, we'll take you to Lagos, where it is said that the commencement of freight operations through rail will not only reduce the congestion at the Apapa ports, but open up investment opportunities, which will translate to millions of jobs once the Lagos-Ibadan rail line becomes fully operational. Michael Olale has the report.
The rail is about to squeal again. Concerned with high optimism and prospects of economic reactivation since the coronavirus pandemic halted services. From the Lagos-Ibadan rail corridor, more attention is being paid to linking the Apapa seaports with the dry port, a prospect investors are eagerly anticipating based on the ability to not only escape from the notorious gridlock, but improve bulk movement of containers.
We have few trucks that will be carrying cargoes on our road if the rail lines are in perfect shape. Then, when the trucks are reduced, we have less accidents on our roads. One major advantage we are going to derive from it is that we have less stress on our road pavements.
This is one of the dreams the reactivation of freight operations through rail is bringing to reality, and in no time, thousands of jobs will be created by this noble initiative.
The pressure we have for people to come and move by rail is more than the rolling stock we have. So we have encouraged people to say, if you come in and we come into an MOU, nothing stops anybody from bringing rolling stock.
The construction work along the corridor is put at 90%, with collected jobs remaining on the 10 train stations along the axis. And when fully operational, there are projections that more than 10,000 direct and indirect jobs will be created aside increase in volume of trade and investments.
Let me start with the rolling stock plant. We're expecting over 5,000 jobs, direct and indirect, to be created just as a result of that plant. Again, the track itself is 312 kilometers, double. We're going to have people to maintain the tracks. That's those engineering men or the civil men, like we call them.
By the time the standard gauge kicks off in operation between Lagos and Ibadan, you see opportunities. People with different ideas will come up, and there will be a lot of jobs.
Some young men will be able to think of what they can do along these business lines, but they wouldn't have the funds. But if the government can provide funds for them, then they can be able to employ a lot of people.
While the Lagos-Ibadan rail project is crucial to economic growth in Nigeria and West Africa by extension, it will also reduce the pressure on other infrastructure, especially the roads. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
And from Lagos, we're back to Abuja. The federal government says it would spare no resource to improve information technology infrastructure in the country towards achieving e-governance and a robust digital economy during and after the coronavirus pandemic. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who doubles as chairman of the board of Galaxy Backbone Limited, stated this at the agency's 34th board meeting in Abuja. Mitari Ipeng reports.
As part of safety measures amidst the coronavirus pandemic, the Federal Executive Council, the nation's highest decision-making body, has since resorted to video conferencing for its meetings. This entails that only members who are presenting memoranda or are statutorily required to be physically present with Mr. President attend in council chambers, while all others participate online from remote locations. The real-time online meetings require cutting-edge technology infrastructure and information security management for confidentiality. And this is where the Galaxy Backbone Limited comes in as the information technology provider of the federal government. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, affirms that the agency has indeed been the backbone of government operations.
Today we are confronted with a situation that if we did not have Galaxy backbone, probably the functionality of government would have been seriously disrupted. So it is very, very important that we hold this meeting, and we also chart a new course. It means that even with the new norm or the new normal, government business will continue to run unabated and with little or no hindrances.
Already, preparations are ongoing to leverage on video conferencing for the next National Council of State meeting involving past Nigerian leaders. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
It is the beast of burden and should not be turned into a delicacy. Find out what the federal government has done to prevent one of man's oldest and reliable companions in the animal kingdom from going extinct. Plus, rice as food. Yes. How then does it come in as building material or fertilizer? Well, I leave you to ponder as we take this break. Please stay with us.
Data plan. All existing Glow customers now enjoy up to 20% more data. Dial *777# to choose a plan. Glow Unlimited.
Baraka Salah from the Federal Road Safety Corps.
On behalf of the Federal Road Safety Corps, I congratulate all Muslim faithfuls on the occasion of this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration.
The presidency has eased the lockdown and we anticipate increased travels this coming holidays.
I wish to respectfully remind you to be safety conscious as you travel to celebrate.
Ensure your vehicles are in good conditions before setting out and please do not overspeed. All public buses, taxis and tricycles must travel at 50% capacity and drivers are to ensure passengers wear face masks. Commercial transporters do not use air conditioner in your vehicles to allow for free flow of air. Report any driver that violates these guidelines.
Yes, wishing you all a happy celebration and safe travels. Baraka de Salah.
In case of road crash, call toll-free lines.
Announcer BC Kazim, Assistant Corps Marshal, Corps Public Education Officer, FRSC.
The Nigerian Air Force is recruiting suitably qualified candidates as threats and non-threats men and women for the year 2020. All interested applicants must be Nigerian citizens by birth. Applicants must be medically and physically fit and must not have any criminal conviction by a court of law. Online registration starts 24th July and closes 21st August 2020, while Selection Board interview exercise will hold from 24th September to 12th November 2020. For more information, call 090-644-32351 or 090-5584-0142, Monday to Friday, between 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Or visit the website www.airforce.mil.ng. All recruitment processes are free of charge. Announcer, the Air Secretary, Air Vice Marshal Mahmoud El Haji Ahmed, Nigerian Air Force, willing, able, ready.
In these uncertain times, one thing's certain. We're in this together. So Clean Protect, the antibacterial detergent that removes 99.9% germs while it cleans. Because germ-free clean is the real clean that we all need. Do your best to protect your family. So Clean Protect.
What's your beautiful? My essence and my energy.
My natural glow and my confidence.
My freshness and fierceness. my beautiful is being me.
Reveal your beautiful this beauty month with amazing discounts of up to 33% off select Nivea products in participating stores near you. Nivea, be you, be beautiful.
The Petroleum Tanker Drivers of Nupeng, PTD, in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, wish all Muslim faithfuls a happy Eid celebration. In this time of a global pandemic, remember, COVID-19 is everywhere. We are all advised to obey stipulated preventive measures by the federal government by maintaining physical distancing in public spaces, wearing a face mask, washing hands with soap regularly, applying alcohol-based hand sanitizers, and coughing or sneezing into a bent elbow or disposable tissue. In the spirit of celebration, as we travel to be with our loved ones, remember to obey all traffic rules and regulations to aid a safe journey. Do not drink and drive. Use your seatbelts while driving. Avoid overspeeding and overtaking recklessly. Do not drive on worn-out tires. Consideration for other road users is a religious obligation everyone must observe. Remember, your life is precious to your loved ones and the nation. In case of any emergency, please call the FRSC toll-free line 122. This message is from the Petroleum Tanker Drivers of Nupeng, PTD.
Improve household hygiene is essential to keep your family safe. Did you know that the sodium hypochlorite, the active ingredient in hypo bleach, is equipped to fight viruses and germs? Add some bleach to water, soak a clean napkin in diluted bleach, and wipe off germs from common contact surfaces. Wipe off with hypo. Disinfect your home with hypo bleach at only 25 naira per sachet.
He's a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent. But now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy. Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
The opponent is down. Amatem Soft Gel. I good to come on malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Thank you so much for staying. A federal high court sitting in Ikoyi has denied the bail application filed by counsels to the 10 suspected pirates currently being tried for the hijacking of a fishing vessel on international waters at Abuja, Cote d'Ivoire.
The written submissions of both counsels on whether to grant bail or not, Justice Ayokunle Faji, in his ruling, said the offense committed by the 10 defendants is a grievous one on the basis that sea piracy is a threat to national security. Justice Faji denied the bail applications and called for a continuation of the case. Prosecuting counsel Labaran Magaji called his witness Danladi Aliu, a police superintendent. Aliu told the court that the 10 defendants wrote their statements willingly. Prosecuting counsel then sought to tender their statements as exhibit. Counsels to the defendants vehemently objected to the tendering of their statements, pointing out that the statements were written under duress and as such could not be tendered. Prosecuting counsel then called for trial within a trial to ascertain the authenticity of their statements. This the judge obliged.
Refusal of bail actually will serve as deterrent to any intending pirates, and is a success story that needs to be told to the world.
So they wrote statement, but some of the things that are contained in that statement, they were forced to say it.
Justice Ayokunle Faji then adjourned the case to the 5th, 6th, and 7th of August 2020 for further hearing. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
35 suspects will be spending their holidays and beyond in police custody for their alleged involvement in armed robbery, kidnapping, car snatching, cattle rustling, and other forms of crime. And Francis Form reports that the suspects were arrested by men of the IGP response team.
The Nigeria police says criminals are smart and resilient, and so they must outmaneuver the criminal mind to achieve any success. The crime dragnet seems to be yielding the desired result, as it has now led to the arrest of this suspected car syndicate, who confessed stealing over 30 cars using anti-car tracking devices provided to them by one Alhaji Garba, a Nigerian.
If those gangs have snatched such of a car, they used to handle it to me, and I'm using German devices to switch off the car services.
Our operatives from IRT have successfully recovered 18 out of these vehicles.
This four-man gang of kidnapped suspects operating in the southeastern part of the country, led by Udodiri Bright Chimezie and Adetokunbo Adenoku, operating along Ikorodu and Shagamu axis, as well as Musa Umar gang operating within Katsina and Kaduna states, confirmed their involvement in the kidnap and killings of some of their victims.
The one I killed, the one who block her with the motor. We tell her to come down from a motor. You know, we can't drag the door open.
When police, particularly operatives from the IRT, began a manhunt for Ability, he temporarily relocated to Togo, only for him to resurface in the early part of this year and continue the same operation.
They held me with the rope, the wire on my throat. I now struggle and fight, struggle with them.
The three of us were involved in the, all of us were involved in the kidnap with the hope of raising funds and getting something before the layer.
Car tracking devices, 4 AK-47 rifles, 361 rounds of live ammunition, and 5 other assault weapons were also recovered from the gangs. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
Now, proprietor of a Sangaya school for child abuse in Kwamba Sileja in Niger State, Umar Ahmed, has been arraigned before a magistrate court in Minna on a 3-count charge. Mukhtar Abubakar Wowo, who is following up on the case, reports that the victims are recuperating in an isolation facility.
The facility where the 15 Almajiris are receiving medical attention after they were rescued in a dehumanizing condition from a Sangaya school in Suleja. Let me take you in to see how they are faring in the facility. The children, most of whom were rescued in a state of malnourishment and with bruises on their bodies, narrate their ordeal while in the custody of their master and choosing to be reunited with their families.
Malam asked them not to be going out, to be roaming about, and they do go out. So anytime they went out and then come back, then there is a particular elderly person in the school there that normally beat them this way. He said it's not the madam that put the chain, it's that same person that beat them that put the chain on his leg. According to him, he said he did nothing to have deserved this kind of treatment. He don't want to go back to that same school again.
We had to wait to ensure that all of them are out of the danger list medically before they are being reunited with their parents.
Back in Suleja, while at the residence of the Sangaya proprietor suspect, all efforts to access what the Sangaya labor master used in torturing the children did not yield positive results. He, however, expresses regrets for punishing them in that manner.
I should have returned them to their parents.
The question on the lips of many are why would parents subject their children to such a condition, and why would members of the community choose to remain quiet over such practice?
If I'm aware that he do treat them badly, honestly, I will not take my children there.
If it is I notice that this thing is such a thing is happening in this school, I could advise him not to do like that.
In the meantime, the suspect and proprietor of the Sangaya school, Umar Ahmed, has been arraigned before the Chief Magistrate Court 1 Mina for alleged wrongful confinement, ill treatment, and cruelty to children, contrary to sections 257 of the Penal Code Law, 26 subsection 1 of the Child's Right Law of Niger State 2010, and 238 of the Penal Code Law, respectively. Although the suspect, Umar Ahmed, pleaded not guilty, Chief Magistrate Abdurrahman Garafini ordered that he be remanded in Amina Correctional Center, while his counsel was directed to come by way of a motion as he orally applied for the bail of his client. The case has been adjourned to the 10th of August for further mention.
There's this animal that is gentle, humble and easy to control that contributes in no small measure to the socio-economic activities of rural dwellers. If you say the donkey, you are right. This animal is also known as the beast of burden. It has the capacity to carry loads bigger and heavier than its weight. Unfortunately, the donkey is under threat of extinction as it is being slaughtered indiscriminately for protein and other purposes. Good news, however, is that the federal government is taking steps to address illegal business of donkey meat and its byproducts. Let's join Musa Babali for the details.
The global demand for donkey's hide and meat is mostly driven by markets in Asia. Donkey meat and skin are used to produce snacks, beauty products, stimulants, anti-aging products, and non-orthodox medicines. The demand and supply of donkey and its byproducts is affecting the population of the animal, putting it at the risk of extinction. The Director General Nigeria Quarantine Services, Vincent Isegbe, says consumption of donkey meat is not prohibited. However, it is illegal to export the animal and its byproduct, especially the hide.
The law clearly states that in the custom excise tariff, hides and skin, wets and dry hides and skin, the raw one, is prohibited for export.
Consequently, the quarantine services raided an illegal underground donkey skin warehouse and slaughter camps across the country. The seized products are safely incinerated.
We are capitalizing on it, and poaching is ongoing in the north. Poaching of donkey, killing, which has been banned. And if we don't maintain and regulate it, the natural heart of the country will be lost.
The Nigerian Quarantine Services recently unveiled the principles of blueprints to structure the donkey value chain.
For you to be engaged in donkey business, you must have a plan, a strategy for restocking. That is very, very essential. If you don't have a plan for restocking, then you will not be considered for any business in the donkey.
Donkeys offer crucial services for families that can't afford motorized transport. They provide transport to market, particularly in remote areas with poor infrastructure. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Poor quality packaging and stones were the major factors responsible for Nigerians preferring foreign rice to the sweeter, more nutritious and fresher locally produced rice. But happily, that has gradually become a tale of the past as the country is now housing a number of integrated rice milling factories that are producing high-quality rice to international standard. For instance, cottage rice millers in Kano State. Yahanasu Hassanbaro has that report.
Uncle Borrower's program is one of the initiatives of the Buhari-led administration to ensure food sufficiency through increase in local rice production as well as diversifying the country's economy. From its inception to date, more than 100,000 farmers in Kano have benefited from the scheme. The 5-year-old program has no doubt impacted positively on Nigeria's economy through reduction of money spent on the importation of the commodity and increase in the demand of homegrown rice, which has also led to the proliferation of rice milling factories that provided job opportunities for the teeming populace. To contribute their quota in the federal government's mantra, the rice farmers in Kano have commenced selling of paddy to millers.
I can recall that Nigeria was spending over ₦1 billion daily to support rice bills importation. But today we are not spending even ₦1. This is a very great achievement to the country.
Our farmers, they return their paddy for recovery purposes. As a result of that, that's why we invited the millers to come and purchase this paddy.
To ensure all actors within the rice value chain benefit from the federal government Rice and Co-Borrowers program, the Rice Farmers Association in Kano has commenced selling of recovered paddy during the dry season to small-scale millers at a subsidized rate to increase local production. So far, the association has recovered 630 metric tons of paddy from its members across the state.
PAN is assisting our production by farming a large quantity.
With this initiative, it is hoped that the prices of rice, which is one of the staple foods in Nigeria, will witness drastic reduction. In Kano, Yohana Sasambaro, NTA News.
Still talking rice. Rice production is one of the ventures in agriculture with a lot of potentials in its value chain. A critical part of the value chain in rice is the husk, an economically viable white product that most Nigerian farmers have not explored, and Sandra Duwese Akeme in this report takes a look at these potentials inherent in the rice husk.
Rice husk, also known as rice chaff, are hard protective coverings of rice grains which comes off during processing, leaving the edible grain white or patched brown. As a major byproduct of the rice milling and biomass of agro-based industry, the husk are loosened due to heat pressure. It has a cellulose-based fiber with approximately 20% silica in amorphous form. The husk, which in the past had no value to the farmer, is now a source of income for its producers.
We will use the same husk as source of heat for the boiler to generate steam, generate heat for both the steaming process and the drying process.
You know that the dead organic matter contributes to the addition of nutrients to the soil. So if any farmer has access to the rice bran kind of, it's advisable you use it as an organic manure.
The rice chaff used to help my birds to be very, very neat and grow well.
Findings also show that bricks manufacturing factories across the state make use of the ashes generated from the husk with the combination of wax to produce concrete bricks. Most producing factories, agro-based manufacturers are calling on government at all levels to create awareness on the value addition in rice husk byproducts. In Makudi, Sirisi Agu, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was quite educative. Now, desert encroachment has been a long-standing challenge in the far north. Efforts have been on to reverse the threat. The latest is that of Governor Malabuni of Yobe State. It is the unveiling of a climate change action with the launching of and planting of 3 million tree seedlings to check desertification, land degradation, and other environmental challenges. Yunusa Suleiman reports that under the initiative, 20 million trees are targeted to be planted in the next 4 years.
Human factors such as excessive agricultural activities, overgrazing, and indiscriminate cutting down of trees for use as fuel are said to be responsible for desertification, erosion, and other environmental challenges bedeviled in the state. With 10 out of the 70 local government areas of the state facing the menace, which is encroaching at an alarming speed annually, the launching of the Climate Change Action Plan and the planting of 3 million seedlings for the 2020 season are efforts put in place by government of the state to safeguard the environment against man-made and natural disasters. Governor Malabuni, however, expressed concern over illegal felling down of trees, which has continuously deflected vegetation cover, threatening food security and economic growth of people in the state.
It is equally disheartening that Yobe State is one of the frontline states with severe environmental challenges in Nigeria and classified by international organizations such as the European Union and the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization among states with a high rate of deforestation. We will not allow this to continue. We must change this ugly trend to save our environment and people.
Under this innovative drive of combating environmental challenges in the state, Governor Buni noted that 5 million assorted tree seedlings are to be raised annually in order to reach the target of planting 20 million trees in 4 years, aimed at providing impetus for land restoration as well as increased vegetation cover in the state. The State Commissioner of Environment, Sidi Yakubu Karswa, disclosed that the 3 million seedlings were nurtured in Damatru, Bayamari, Gaidam, Geshua, and Nguru Nazaris. The State Climate Change Action Plan has a theme, Plant a Tree for Better Tomorrow. In Damatru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Plant a tree for better tomorrow. Nice one. Our next segment brings us up to date with happenings around COVID-19. If you are a parent, teacher, or an exit class student, then hang on there so you don't miss out on something very important that concerns you. This is News Extra.
You see, as I talk to you plenty, Nana, because I get glue too, that make me talk. Please, I be not be so. All right. You say I won't talk plenty. Una no self say I not dey lie. You see this glow? If you get them, una no go even una go just they talk they go because it's not there.
Enjoy international calls from as low as 40 kobo per second from Nigeria to the world. Call your loved ones today.
Thank you, my sister. You do well, eh?
Glow Unlimited.
Expressions without words won't have it any other way. Moments will feel joy. Been lost in the moment, the freedom. You will find that's what's celebrating. Bring your moments alive. Find your satisfaction in the nourishing, trending, sparkling. Celebrate a little ways, making big differences in the nourishing, trending, sparkling.
Enjoy in red grape, white grape, peach variants. The Valletta sparkling fruit drink. Celebrate every moment.
The risk of illness-causing germs is increasing. It is believed that the coronavirus can remain on surfaces in your home for up to 9 days. Touching infected surfaces is one of the ways in which germs spread. Regularly disinfect your floors, countertops, and kitchen surfaces with bleach, and use an effective toilet cleaner inside and outside your toilet bowl. This message is brought to you by Medifact, Jig, and Harpic.
Period pain may stop you at the worst time. Don't let period pain hold you back from being your best. Panadol Extra, effective relief from period pain.
Close-up deep action with antibacterial formula and deep cleaning gel keeps your teeth clean and protected. Close-up deep action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath and more.
Human resource.
Welcome back. Gambia's vice president tests positive for coronavirus as outbreak in Hong Kong overwhelms medical system. Joyce Ometo has a global update on COVID-19.
The World Health Organization has warned that increasing infections among young people may be behind the latest spikes in coronavirus cases across Europe. European Regional Director for WHO, Dr. Hans Klug, said the agency have received reports from several health authorities of a higher proportion of COVID-19 infection among young people. And reports from Hong Kong says the country's chief executive, Carrie Lam, has sounded alarm over the city's health system. She said with the new wave of mostly locally transmitted infections, Hong Kong is on the verge of a large-scale community outbreak, which may lead to a collapse of the country's hospital system. In the meantime, Vietnam is on a high alert and bracing for a rise in coronavirus cases after reports of new infections in the capital, Hanoi. The country's prime minister warned on Wednesday that every province and every city is at risk, adding that the new wave appeared to be different to that seen in Vietnam earlier this year. Turning attention to Africa, Gambia's presidency said Vice President Issatu Toure has tested positive for COVID-19, leading President Adama Barrow to enter self-isolation. Continent-wide, Africa has registered 880,102 cases, 18,593 fatalities, and 529,376 patients recovered. In Nigeria, 41,804 cases have been confirmed, 868 deaths recorded, while 18,764 persons discharged. On the global picture, figures published by the Coronavirus Resource Center in Johns Hopkins University show that global cases have now crossed 17 million. Fatality figures stand at 665,663, while more than 10 million patients have recovered. And that's a global update on COVID-19. Thanks for watching. I am Joyce Ometu.
Infectious diseases have been around in Nigeria for as long as one could remember, but little was known of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. The coming of COVID has changed all that, as NCDC is now a household name in Nigeria. Beyond this popularity, what value has it added in the fight to combat COVID-19? House of Representatives Committee on COVID-19 went visiting to find out. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
When the NCDC gave the go-ahead for this visit, it felt there was need to go beyond rhetorics, and so it took the lawmakers to the National Reference Laboratory in Abuja. This facility houses more than 1 million samples of various diseases, including more than 40,000 samples for coronavirus.
It's difficult to manage a process that has to work efficiently every day of the week for 6 months now. What we should do is find ways of getting all these facilities to work optimally. It doesn't matter, give us what you need, how many staff you need.
After the facility tour, the lawmakers commended the efforts of NCDC so far, but called for overall enhanced response.
There is a need, DG, to increase the number of collection centers, and I want to plead on behalf of the leadership of the House to bring a collection center to the National Assembly.
What is the situation of this in Kano now? Because at the initial stage of this COVID, they that came from Kano, everybody is even afraid to sit near me.
The Director General NCDC says battle with COVID-19 can't be done solo.
The group of questions around test kits, treatment, vaccines, we are working on all fronts. I know a lot of times everyone says we have to look inwards, but we also have to look outwards so that we collaborate.
He suggested elevation of health security as the level of policy and national discourse. Lami Ali, NTA News.
And let's go to education now. Now, the federal government has released a comprehensive schedule for the various national examinations for exit classes spanning from 17th August to 18th November 2020. Minister of State for Education, Chukwu Emeka Wajiba, who in a statement says the West African Examination Council, WAEC, and SSCE will start on the 17th of August 2020, while the National Business and Technical Examination Board, NAPTEB, examination will commence on the 21st of September and end on the 15th of October 2020. Other details indicates that the Senior Secondary School Certificate Examinations, SSCE, for SS3 conducted by NECO will start on the 5th of October and end on the 18th of November 2020. The Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, for JSS3 also conducted by NECO will commence on the 24th of August and end on the 7th of September 2020. The National Common Entrance Examination, NCEE, which is a one-day NECO examination for intending applicants into Unity Colleges, JSS1, will run on Saturday, 17th October 2020. Registration for the NECO and SSCE, which is ongoing, will end on the 10th of September 2020, and there shall be no extension for the registration. The statement further indicates that the National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies (NBIAS) examination will commence on Wednesday, 23rd of September and end by 17th of October 2020. The minister therefore directs all examination bodies to release details of their examination timetables in the next 7 days. Wearing of face mask is made compulsory for parents and pupils on the examination days. Pupils and parents are also required to carry along with them alcohol-based sanitizers. And as Nigeria gradually reduces lockdown restrictions, the federal government approved the reopening of schools for students in exit classes to enable them prepare for terminal examinations. However, there are concerns that when schools fully resume, some students may not return to classes. Olubukola Aduwo takes it up from here.
A typical compound of a once flourishing secondary school in the heart of Akure, the Ondo State capital, overgrown with weeds, classrooms taken over by rats and rodents. These are telltale signs of how devastating the unrelenting coronavirus pandemic has affected the education sector. Many of the students of these schools are busy, no doubt, but in a way that may not be in the interest of they themselves and the nation on the long run. Welcome to the streets of Akure, where many of these young adolescents sell pure water sachets, recharge cards, fruits, and even wash cars. Educationists are worried that the coronavirus pandemic could trigger a wave of dropouts, as they believe that some students, particularly those of secondary school age, who have been away from school for a long period, may not resume when eventually schools are reopened. Ayomide Duile, 14-year-old primary 6 pupil, comes to the main road very early in the morning to clean windscreens of cars for a token. He fears it may be difficult for him to return to school even after the pandemic.
Per day, sometimes 1,000, sometimes 1,500.
A lot of parents cannot cater for these children, so they either send them to go and do miniatures. You see them at car wash, you see them hawking around. And once these children have tasted money, I'm afraid they won't like to come back to studies.
Even more devastating is the adverse effects of COVID-19 on the economy of parents. While many have lost their jobs, a good number are not making as much in their various vocations. And as such, educationists fear that the education of the child, especially the girl child, may suffer.
I would like to advise the government to ensure that the counseling unit of every school is as active as it used to be before, so that they can confide in the counselors, they can be advised. Some of them that have been impregnated, they can tell them that this is not the end of the road for them.
We are embarking on intensive advocacy and sensitization to make sure that we have a larger percentage of our students back.
Educationists advised that government and its partners should make policies and plans that will not only return the likes of Ayomide to school, but also keep them there. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
And as part of efforts to decongest markets in the FCT and further check the spread of COVID-19, markets operation days have been extended to 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. as against the earlier 3 days, effective from Thursday, 30th July 2020. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the FCT Minister Anthony Ogunleye, the Abuja Market Management and various market associations are urged to continue to sensitize and enforce market users to abide by COVID-19 safety protocols, failure of which the FCT administration will be compelled to withdraw this extension. And the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Ronshewe, has commended the governments of Kogi, Plateau, Gombe and Abia states for donating office accommodation to the council. Ronshewe, who made this commendation in Abuja, stated that the donation of office accommodation is an indication of commitment of the state governments to the development of the culture sector in Nigeria. In a statement, Ronshewe says, with the presence of the council's offices in these states, the opportunity has been created for the NCAC to directly network with the state governments and drive the process of development of arts and culture in the state. He stressed the need for National Council for Arts and Culture to work with the state government for the exploration and development of the vast potentials in the culture sector. The NCAC DG also noted that there is no state of the country without a unique arts and cultural manifestations, and that if the various states of the Federation can work with the Council, identity and development and to develop those cultural resources for which they have advantage, then the sector would not only develop rapidly, it will become a major pillar of the nation's economy. Now, the Nigerian Army has inaugurated a dedicated water treatment plant for Maxwell Kobe Cantonment and its host communities in Rukuba Plateau State. And defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details of the capacity of the project and expected impact.
The inauguration of this multipurpose dam and water treatment plant has brought to an end the 4 decades-long water shortage bedeviling the Maxwell Cantonment and its contiguous host communities.
Before now, previous commanders dug several wells and sank many boreholes. These were all done to mitigate the perennial challenge of water shortage in the cantonment. Their efforts, however, yielded varying degrees of success.
The treatment plant has the capacity to treat 1 million liters of water daily, while the supporting multipurpose dam, with about 9 feet depth, 540,000 cubic liters of water, has 3 sources of water supply.
As part of our efforts at enhancing civil-military relations, this dam has a multipurpose role, which is not only to supply potable water to the barrack residents, but we also would like to extend it to our host community of Dusenkura and headquarters of Basa local government, which is Jebu Basa.
To enhance the barracks initiative empowerment program, the dam can be used for all year-round farming, fishing, and serving as enabling ground for watermanship and amphibious combat training of troops.
The design, construction and reticulation of this multipurpose dam and the water treatment plant were handled by a team of engineers from the Nigerian Army Engineering Corps. From the Maxwell Cantonment in Jos Plateau State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, from floods, to gully erosion, environmental disasters man have to deal with. We'll be right back after this break.
So smooth. Wanna party with a legend in the making. Spend it as we get it, better spread it where we baking. Say it out, I mean it, girl, the word is for the taking. But how I do my thing, smooth, that's on everything. Smooth, 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 smooth. But how I do my thing, working like I'm buzzing, bet I'm bugging for the honey. But how I do my thing, smooth, that's on everything. Smooth, 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 smooth.
Every house has its own rules. But in this house, rules can be deceiving. Fold them, bend them, break them, make them. The house can't win if you beat it at its own game. Play your cards right. Be heard. Be seen. Change perception. Expose the players. Reveal the drama, the passion, the charm, the deceit. All eyes are on you, but keep your eye on the prize. Run the risk, take the house. Only one king or queen will ace the game on Big Brother Naija. Season 5 starts 19th of July, 7 p.m. on DSTV Channel 198 and GoTV Channel 29. Headline sponsor, Betway. Gold sponsor, Guinness. Rated 18.
What's better than finding your own fun spot and chilling with some friends? With Teaser's sparkling cocktail, we can put the fun back into everything.
Whenever, you don't got to stress on it. Just get your Teaser.
The refreshingly new Teaser sparkling cocktail is ready to drink in a class of its own. Now available in apple flavor and lime and lemon flavor. Teaser sparkling cocktail drink, masters of fun. From Intercontinental Distillers Limited.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rest heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Great to have you back. If you say that life is just about repeating itself, you may be right. And so it is also with natural phenomena. Over the past few weeks, flood disasters have been bringing about devastating impacts on property and human lives, especially in the north-central geopolitical zone. And in Nasarawa State, the huge losses incurred so far, we understand, are largely due to negligence by victims who are not heeding safety advisories. But there is hope as government and affected communities are returning to the basics of improving awareness on environmental quality and infrastructure to reduce the damage. Like Fela, the Afrobeat maestro, once sang, "Water, you no get enemy," meaning if you don't take the steps to control water, it will take over and devastate you. Achigili Magaji reports on the latest moves to control water in the state.
This is the outlook of Popular Amba River, just like many other areas of north-central Nigeria, taking flood water from Benue Trough. Perhaps it is just a matter of size compared with the river and this street in Lafia. Incidentally, the area is part of millionaires' quarters in the heart of the metropolis.
Ago, the rain came in a very big way and broke my fence, and I just finished the reconstruction. And then the second, just last Saturday, another heavy downpour that came all through the night broke the fence again.
The seasonal overflow and the topography of most areas make them susceptible to flooding, with loss of properties and sources of livelihood. In addition to threats to infrastructure and cutting off communities from one another, many lives have been lost to flood.
And water come through the river.
Now he come pack 3 people here.
Okay. This is River Amba, one of the many crisscrossing the length and breadth of Nasarawa State. But now it is just a strip. But in the event of a heavy downpour, it comes with a lot of devastation, just like what occurred a few days ago. This culvert is too small for us because there we have some poor people in Kuramba. They don't know how to enter town.
Not unaware of the perennial flooding in the state, the Nasarawa state government is rising to the challenge by evolving ways of mitigating the effects on the people.
Usually, we try to be more proactive than reactive. And what we're doing now is to sensitize our people, particularly those of them within the flood-prone zones, to educate them and identify areas within the places where should we have a flood, we can say we can relocate them.
The outlook is still not good news as the relevant agencies of government give advisories on the likelihood of high flooding and what Nigerians must do to reduce the impact. In Lafia, Achigili Magaji, NTA News.
Since 2012, when Nigeria had her worst flood disaster, the phenomenon has continued to occur as many parts of the country have been experiencing seasonal flood. The 2020 rainy season is here again at a difficult time that the country is grappling with coronavirus pandemic. How can the country manage these challenges without facing double jeopardy? John Yaku in this report examines some of the issues.
Flood in Nigeria has become an annual phenomenon. This is globally attributed to climate change. Environmentalists have also cited human factors such as building on waterways, blocking of drainage channels, and the release of dam water, which affects people downstream, as reasons for floods. Statistics from NEMA showed that 363 people were killed in 30 states, with 2.1 million people displaced in the 2012 floods. Most of these IDPs were, however, accommodated in camps across the country for easy management. However, the biggest challenge in the event of flood in the country this year will be how to manage the IDPs as a result of COVID-19 pandemic without breaching the social distancing protocol.
They may be sheltered in IDP camps where people will be in close contact. With already overstretched health infrastructure, this will lead to a complex humanitarian situation.
It will be terrible that we could send it to suffer 2 pandemics. Like the NEMA director mentioned, pandemic within pandemic. It will be difficult to maintain social distancing when people are displaced from their natural habitats.
Already, NEMA has warned that 102 local governments in 28 states of the Federation are at risk of flooding this year. To prevent this, experts are of the opinion that early sensitization of the people in flood zones to relocate to safer areas will go a long way in reducing the impact on the citizens and avoid the spread of coronavirus in the camps.
We have also written letters to inform all the state governors, including the local government areas, informing the state emergency management agencies, frontline local government areas, and other response agencies to prepare for the flood. Carrying out enlightenment campaign targeting vulnerable communities to undertake mitigation actions and prepare for evacuation to safer grounds.
Those ones are started with such activities of enforcement. If it means forcefully, relocating them, removing them from there, they should do it.
Experience in the past have shown that many Nigerians who live in flood-prone areas find it difficult to relocate before the actual flood. The culture is to play the wait-and-see game. The unfortunate thing, however, is that nobody knows when the flood water will come. The people, they say, must also learn to deseat drainages on time to allow free flow of rainwater so as to prevent movements to IDP camps and be exposed to higher risk of COVID-19. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
And water shortage has a great impact on human health, socio-economic development, and the environment. Apart from dehydration, relieving hunger in any society must begin with access to reliable source of water. Why? The reason is that water shortage has direct impact on crops and livestock, which can lead to food shortage and eventually starvation. Why is it difficult to successfully harness water resources to ensure its sustainable and equitable access to safe, adequate, improved and affordable water supply to residents? Ayinla Balogun brings us details of the Ogun State experience. Take a look.
Water is of immense use to mankind. It is found everywhere around us, on the earth's surface and on the ground. Nevertheless, with so much water found everywhere around us, there is little available for domestic and industrial uses, especially during dry season. Why is it so? Challenges involved in the provision of water in Ogun State are enormous. The checklist include inadequate supply of electricity, inadequate funding, lack of technical manpower, unwillingness and or refusal to pay water bills by individuals and corporate organizations, to mention but a few.
When the state started, we were a little over 2 million. That was in 1976, maybe a little over 1 million or 2. Now the state is over 7 million, and the rate of population growth is not commensurate with the level of investment that we have on ground.
Aside government, key players in providing potable water for the masses are Ogun River Basin Authority, NAFDAC, health officials, aerated water companies, and sachet water producers. These key players or stakeholders interplay to ensure safe, wholesome water for domestic and industrial uses in the state.
As we speak, there's a national action plan by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources on WASH. WASH is Water Sanitation and Hygiene program of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. We are keen into that in ensuring that not only that we bring water to the urban center, we also ensure that we bring water to the semi-urban and also the rural.
We produce bottled water and sachet water, which is very, very popular because everybody believes that our own products will be of the utmost quality, you know.
It's about how well the regulatory agencies are up and doing in ensuring that all such abuses are, arrested, because it's bad enough that you are using well water. Then to now take that and go and sell to people is, it's unimaginable.
With more support, collaborative efforts, and easy access to fund or assistance from financial institutions as loans and aids to maximize the potentials of water in Nigeria, Ogun State can be a destination for local and foreign investors. In Abeokuta, Ayinla Balogun, NTA News.
So far, so good. Let's now take our final break, after which we take a look at the sporting world.
So smooth. You wanna party with a legend in the making. Spend it as we get it, better spread is what we baking. Say it out, I mean it, girl, the word is for the taking. But how I do my thing smooth, that's on everything. Smooth, 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 smooth. But how I do my thing, working like I'm buzzing, bet I'm bugging for the honey. But how I do my thing smooth, that's on everything. Smooth, 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 smooth.
Welcome. Now to sports with Buddy Adile.
Having been suspended for about 5 months due to the coronavirus pandemic, the 2019-2020 NBA season returns on July 30. But the remainder of the season will not be like any previous year, as the world of sports continues to adjust to the new normal. The top 22 of the 30-team league will play 8 games to conclude the regular season, with the other 8 done for the year. The top 7 teams in each conference will progress automatically, with the 8th team decided through a potential playing tournament. All matches are to be decided at 3 venues on the Wide World of Sports complex at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, with the seeding games ending on August the 14th. The playoffs will begin on August 17, while Game 7 of the NBA Finals will take place, if necessary, no later than October 13. In line with the new normal, players are being intimated with the health and safety protocols, while the fans will be shut out of the match venues. Players who are not playing are, however, allowed to attend other games.
Without fans, I don't think an NBA basketball game is going to be the same. You as a player, you want to hear the voice of the fans, people being around you, shouting at you, just shouting your name. How does the entertainment around basketball? So it's going to be something that will be very, very difficult.
The excitement from the source will not be there, and those who are going to be seated there, they are going to feel it more because they cannot express themselves. It's rather unfortunate about it.
A number of notable players will be sitting out the restart due to injury or safety concerns. Nevertheless, followers of the game in Nigeria will be watching with special feelings for their countryman, Masai Ujiri's Toronto Raptors.
I'm still going to go with my brother, Masai, hopefully win the championship, take the championship back again to Toronto, and bring the trophy back again to Nigeria.
As it stands now, the NBA cannot guarantee that no one will contract COVID-19, but they are taking precautions aside testing players. And if any player tests positive, it will have to self-isolate for at least 7 days or be replaced. In Abuja, Badi Adeleye, NTA News.
Muslims have been reminded to live a life worthy of emulation, as the late senior advocate of Nigeria, Abdul Ghani Folorunsho Abdul Razak did. This was the view of dignitaries at the 5-day prayer in honor of the late statesman, who was also the father of the Kwara State Governor. Raliat Ibrahim reports that the prayer was transmitted live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
The prayer was held at the Ilorin Central Mosque with selected family members, Islamic scholars and well-wishers in line with COVID-19 safety protocols. Various Islamic scholars, led by the Chief Imam of Ilorin, Alhaji Muhammad Bashir Soliu, reminded all of the inevitability of death and the need to be prepared. Dignitaries speak on the person of the late statesman.
He's a man of many firsts. The consolation is that he died a fulfilled man. And of course, the family themselves will be happy to have had a fulfilled father. And of course, they themselves must be fulfilled now in view of the achievement that the father made. He's a man who led an exemplary life. He's a man that his entire family, and of course the entire Ilorin community, the entire Kwara State, both new and old, are very proud to identify with him. It's our prayer that Almighty Allah will repose his soul, and of course we keep his homestead united after him.
The man was a pillar to be reckoned with in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, and worldwide. I describe him as a fulfilled man.
Late Abdul Ghani Folorunsho Abdul Razak OFR died on the 25th of July at the age of 93. Raliat Ibrahim, NTA News.
And before we go, here's a public service announcement. And with that, we end News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Fatima Umar Buba. Do stay safe and enjoy the rest of your night.
I would boldly say it with all sense of humility. I'm called to do fashion.
I dream, sleep, everything I do is about fashion.
Coronavirus is real. Steps to avoid this pandemic. Wash your hands regularly.